everyone. Welcome to Keeping It Real. And I just lost Carrie. Hopefully she'll pop back in here in just a minute. So, hey, everyone. We're going to talk a little bit. Oh, and there she is. We're going to do a little talk today about kind of some current events that's been happening and kind of what's going on in the mortgage industry. So, what I'm referring to is President Donald Trump, who is doing some accusations, or I guess that's what the right word is for accusations, against Governor Lisa Cook, who, and there's also some other ones. It's not just her. There's several people that obviously are not maybe on his side or whatever, but he's going after them for mortgage fraud. And, you know, I mean, politics aside, we're going to dig in today on why it's kind of important and what that means and why you shouldn't do that and what those implications are and ways you can get around it by doing the right thing. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to talk about mortgage and occupancy fraud today. And again, kind of what it is, why it matters, and then we just kind of talked about the recent examples. So here we go. All right. So what is mortgage fraud? And I'm going to let Carrie talk today because last time I talked to her, I'm going to kind of drink my coffee here and let her take this away a little bit.
Yeah, mortgage fraud is when you intentionally lie on your application in order for you to get more money out of a transaction, better terms, or a certain property. You know, maybe the person doesn't want to sell to an investor. They would rather sell to somebody as a primary residence. So there's different things that people do. And literally when you are signing on that you are going to have a primary residence, you sign a form that says that this is investigated. Mortgage fraud is investigated by the FBI. So it's not something to be taken lightly at all.
So I do remember, and I was talking to my husband about this. I do remember when we first bought our house, I mean, there was like this huge stack of papers you had to sit down and you had to sign, and you had to go through it. And it was like one of the questions on there was, is this your primary residence? Right? I mean, you're always asked that question. Is this your primary residence? You have to answer that question. And you do. You have to tell the truth. You're not supposed to lie because that's called bad intent, right? Fraud. Right. You're not telling the truth.
You are intentionally deceiving someone. So it's considered fraudulent.
Exactly. Okay. So let's dig a little bit deeper here. So what is a primary residence? And why does it matter? Because a lot of people are hearing about this and they know, but it's like, even like I did, I was like, okay, you're supposed to say it's primary residence.
Yeah.
But why does it really matter? And I kind of get their point because, you know, if you were, I don't know, even if you worked, like, let's say on both coasts, like some of the Congress people do, they have to be on the East Coast and maybe they live on the West Coast, or, you know, they live in the middle of the country and they have to go to the East Coast a lot. You know, sometimes you'd want your family with you, and I can kind of see where you'd want two residences because, you know, you're going back and forth between places so much. I kind of get it. It makes sense, but you can't. And this is why, and Carrie's going to tell us.
Well, and we're going to kind of elaborate on that a little farther down the road in this slideshow, but your primary residence is where you live a majority of the year. The one major thing about a primary residence when you're going for financing is how much money you have to put down, and you get a better interest rate. So if a person is intentionally deceiving because they only have 5% to put down, but an investment property requires 20%, that kind of gives you an idea of why people are doing this, because you come in with less money, your interest rate's going to be better. So it's more of a favorable loan. But this is something that the IRS also investigates, because when you file your taxes, they ask you what is your primary residence and if you have any other properties, and you are able to deduct the interest on your mortgage for your primary residence. So, you know, if you're deceiving
only, right?
Yeah. So if you're deceiving the IRS too, just think about the implications.
Okay. So I think it'd be kind of scary. I don't know if I would do that. Oh, and you guys, by the way, I'm going to jump in here real quick too, because I have to say this out loud. So I do have some new background music just because, you know, sometimes I just think it's kind of something nice to have in the background. So I have to say that I have to do attributions to this thing. So it's called The Right Choice, and it's by Pixabay.com. So if you like it, check it out. They've got some free, you know, music. Anyway, okay, continue on. Here we go. Thought I'd throw that in there before. It's popped at the bottom.
Yeah, so here we go. how to have multiple homes legally.
Legally.
So, honestly, okay, so let's just say I'm in my primary residence right now, but I'm in government and I get elected to Congress and I have to go live on the East Coast. Can I still keep my primary residence here? Can I still keep the home that I live in and then go buy another one there? Absolutely, because you've already owned this as a primary residence. But if you're going to be establishing a new home, you can purchase a new primary residence without taking out a new loan on the home that you already have. It's because you've been established there. And as long as you've been there at least 5 years, then you can go and purchase another property and make that either a secondary home or you can rent it out to other people.
Okay.
But
So
we're going to ask for proof of residency.
It could be like a vacation home. I mean, it's totally okay to have those. I mean, people do that all the time. But like you said before, your interest rates aren't usually good. You usually have to have more money down, and then you have to pick, like when you have a residency, like if you're going to vote, for instance, even, right? You have to have where you vote at. I mean, you can't have like, oh, I vote here and I vote here and I vote. You can't.
Right.
It's not fair. It's not okay. So there is some really good stuff coming out of this. I mean, we are learning some of this, and it's really on a lot of different levels. It's really not okay because there could be a lot of other stuff going on there too. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So what is occupancy fraud?
You're misrepresenting yourself by saying that you're buying a property for one certain reason, but you're using it for another. Right. So, yeah.
And you're saying it's your primary or maybe that one is, but maybe the one that was your primary before, you're still claiming it, and that's not okay either. It's got to be one or the other.
Exactly.
All right. This is not that difficult, I mean, when you no, seriously, because I was like, there seems to be such big talk about this, and that's kind of what I would know. Like, let's break it down and make it super, super simple and clear. It's not okay. I mean, it's against the law. You can't do this.
Yeah. And, it's asking about, why does it matter? Because you do get more favorable terms when you're applying for a loan as a primary residence. It shifts more of a risk because with a secondary home or an investment property, there are stricter guidelines. You have to meet certain thresholds for reserves. You have to make sure you have like 6 months worth of PITI, the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So like a full mortgage payment in the bank. So they're not looking for that stuff for a primary residence. So if you don't have those reserves and you can't afford to pay both mortgages, you're more easily going to go into default. So these are a lot of the reasons why it just puts a bigger risk on the lenders at that point.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, and we kind of talked about Lisa Cook already. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the person because I know she's getting right through the coals, and along with a couple of other governors, I've been seeing their names pop up and stuff like that. I mean, there's enough stuff going on, and it sounds like it's something that, and like I said, I kind of get the fact you might need 2 homes, but
But here's the thing that with this particular case is that she bought these homes within just a few months span of one another. And she's not occupying either of the ones that they're talking about. That's what I understand. And that's the reason why it was kind of red flagged. And during her congressional hearing, when they were, they did put some clarifications on that. I just want to let everybody know there were clarifications, but they're still being called out because, if you are going to represent your government in front of billions of people, you need to be honest if you expect people to also be law-abiding citizens. You can't, go and do something different or against the law if you want to represent the United States of America. So he's making examples.
It's about your community too. I mean, like I was just saying, I mean, it's, if you're claiming you can vote in 2 places, I mean, that's an unfair advantage. It's not fair to either community, or maybe you don't get a vote in one of them, but you get, you know what I mean? There's just so many different things. So, and then obviously, when you live in a community, usually you live in the community and you're part of that community and you're contributing to that community, and your kids are going to school there, or you're helping volunteer there or whatever. And that's also kind of part of the community. If you have somebody who's, saying that they didn't get the benefits, but they're not doing it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, red flags. Let's talk about these. So what do you look for, Carrie? Because I know you get to see this stuff way more than I do.
Yeah. Inconsistent or incomplete documents. You know, a lot of people will kind of be deceptive, and if they owe you paperwork, they'll, you know, make it draw out a little bit. So look for different things like that. Pressure to sign quickly. They just want to move this transaction along as quickly as possible so they don't get found out. And they want to, you know, maybe a deal is too good to be true. Maybe it's a deal between the seller and the buyer. There's also something called a straw buyer, where someone will come in and misrepresent that they are the buyer when they're purchasing it for someone else as well. So that's also a big thing. And then, you know, of course, we want to make sure that the occupancy is correct on all loan applications.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what can happen if you, I mean, I think we're starting to, or I'm probably going to see some more of this coming up just because of what's going on, but why don't you tell us what could happen?
You could get some huge fines, tens of thousands of dollars, or they can throw you in prison. So I don't want to go into prison over, you know, lying.
I know the guy, but I've been watching Diddy and he doesn't look too happy, and you know, I'm teasing. But you know, I mean, I think, and then, you know, like what we're seeing with the governor too, is that, you know, you're seeing that she's losing some credibility and trust because she's doing things that your average citizen would never be allowed to do. So it does.
Yeah, it's definitely in the gray area, taking advantage of position for sure. But like we talked about before, loan default and foreclosure, you are not honoring the terms of the loan. So actually the servicer can call the note, which means they can tell you, you owe us the entire balance of the loan today or within this period of time because you are not following the terms that were set out by the loan.
Okay. And do they check? Because I think when we sign that, I think I asked that question just because I was curious. But
well, they're looking at where you're getting mail.
Your person, can they check to see that you're actually living there?
Yeah, I mean, everything that you do. Think about it. Unless you have a PO box, you're receiving mail to your home, but your utilities are going to be registered to your home. Your insurance is going to be registered to your home. So they're looking at all of these things. But so they definitely can tell. And people, they have been drive-bys.
Somewhere else?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't you do that and still live somewhere else?
Potentially. I mean, if it was a secondary home, that's very easy to do.
Right.
But like a lot of it had to do, like we said, with the timing and purchasing multiple properties within a certain period of time just to take advantage of the loan terms. So. All
right. See, like I said, I would never know how to do this. I mean, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to get in trouble. So I usually try to follow.
You probably wouldn't even think about that, right? Honestly, like, why would you even think about that?
Because you know more than other people kind of randomly do, and you take advantage of the system. I don't agree
exactly.
with that. That's my opinion. Exactly. Okay. All right. Let's start with the key takeaways for today and get over with this.
Exactly. So mortgage fraud means intentionally deceiving someone. So just be honest.
Yeah, don't lie. It's really easy.
Occupancy fraud is about lying about where you live. You want to make sure that if you are telling people this is my primary residence, that it in fact is your primary residence. Once again, it harms the lenders, borrowers, and communities. And just think, if you are purchasing a home as an investment property in an area where it's a desirable neighborhood and there are families, we know there's a shortage of houses right now, right? And there are people that are now starting to become a little bit more competitive in the market and find homes that they can afford. Yeah. And just think about, if you are trying to compete with an investor, you are cheating someone else out of a home that they could use for their family. Mm-hmm. So be respectful of other people too.
I mean, I've also heard in the news, and maybe this could be another topic for another day because it's kind of another hot topic, is, I've been hearing a lot of corporations are buying up single family homes. And so it is taking those homes out of the market. I'm assuming that they're paying, the extra stuff down or whatever, but anyway.
Oh, they would have to, but it's becoming a big issue when they're coming in and purchasing. I know that they put restrictions. There was a big company trying to do that around here where they were buying like an entire street, and the area put a stop to that because it is unfair to people, especially the area that they were purchasing in is more of West Bremerton, where the homes were less expensive and they also all needed a lot of work. So they were buying them up at these inexpensive prices and either tearing them down and building apartment buildings or something else, or that they were just like rehabbing them and then flipping them. So you just have to be really careful and just be conscious. You know,
and those
in New York, the
too.
person who's running for governor or mayor in New York actually wants to make it so that there's no more privatized housing. So there's all kinds of crazy things out there.
Yeah, but I mean, and I guess the people, the builders that are doing that, or the investment firms that were doing this, they probably don't have a really good reputation around the community again, because like I said, it does harm the community. So kind of tying that back. But anyway, that is really, I think, all we have, you guys. If you have questions, you would like to throw in some comments. I don't really do the political thing. I think that, everybody's got their own mind made up on how they believe, and that's the way it is. And, hopefully it's the right one. But I don't really get into that line of it, so don't talk to me about that part. But if you do have questions more about what's going on with and why this is happening, or, what were some of the implications, or you want a little bit more information, we can get to that. So reach out. We'd be happy to help.
And I agree with you 100%. You have to take the political part out of it, and it's more about doing the right thing.
Yep, it is. All right, Carrie, thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time. Same time, same place. Have a great day.